Hello there and welcome to a brand new episode of HALA Kuwait. My name is Tariq Al-Aryan and we're coming to you live tonight from the Ministry of Information studios right here in downtown Kuwait. And I hope everyone out there is having a great evening, wherever you may be watching tonight's episode. As usual, the camera crew have been very busy filming all around the state of Kuwait. A lot of great reports to get you caught up on tonight's episode, time permitting. Also, we have some distinguished guests who will be joining us right here in the studio very shortly. But first off this evening, let's now take a look at the visit of the Indian Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs to the state of Kuwait, and that'll be followed straight after this report with an exclusive interview with His Excellency, the Indian Ambassador to the state of Kuwait. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for the next guest.
Well, we're back right here in the studio, and we have with us right now His Excellency Dr. Adarsh Swaika, and he is the Ambassador of India to the state of Kuwait. Your Excellency, welcome to our program once again.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting me once again on your show.
It's a pleasure to have you, Mr. Ambassador. I know it's been a very busy summer for yourself, and we thank you for your valuable time with us this evening right here on the program. And Mr. Ambassador, recently the Indian Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliament Affairs visited Kuwait. We saw that beautiful video at the top of our interview. Tell our audience a little bit more about that visit in detail, sir.
First of all, it's always a pleasure to be on your show. But yes, on the minister's visit, we did see a video right now, and I think it says it all. The visit was very wholesome, I would say, both in terms of our interaction with the Kuwaiti dignitaries and also it afforded an opportunity for the minister to meet a wide cross-section of the Indian community. You know that the Indian community is the largest expatriate community in Kuwait, and therefore he was able to meet a number of stakeholders in the Indian community. But firstly, I think this is a ministerial visit which came after almost 2 years, and therefore it gave an opportunity to both sides to discuss many of important issues on bilateral cooperation at a ministerial level. So particularly with the meeting with the first Deputy Prime Minister and the Interior Minister, I think there was a good amount of understanding on people-to-people contacts, and we were very happy to receive a very positive feedback on the Indian community in Kuwait. With Foreign Minister, the discussions were on all important issues, and particularly the emphasis was on economic cooperation, where both countries have a big vision, and therefore the opportunities, particularly on education, on information technology, skill development, I think these were broadly the issues which were discussed during the ministerial meetings. So overall, I would say that coming after a gap of 2 years, the visit was very, very good, and both sides are trying to follow up on the discussion that had for effective implementation.
Good to hear that, Mr. Ambassador. And maybe you could elaborate a little bit now about the strong bilateral relationship between Kuwait and India, sir.
No, the relationship continues to be very strong, because as you could see from the video and the minister's visit as well, it has all the essential elements, be it political, be it economic, be it culture, be it people-to-people contacts. Our relationship with Kuwait cuts across all sectors. But yes, there is definitely a huge scope to improve it, and that is where the effort of both sides, I would emphasize once again, both sides are keen to further diversify the relationship and broaden it. And for example, if you see our bilateral trade, it is at a record high of $13.8 billion. But again, much of it is on oil or food. So we need to keep on diversifying that. And we are seeing some signs, particularly when we see exports from India. We are now seeing made in India automobiles come to Kuwait. We are seeing more textiles, we are seeing ceramics, we are seeing machinery. Now more and more India-made machinery coming into Kuwait. So these are good signs of diversification. If you see culture, again, I think culture is something that binds us. Many of our things are very much similar.
Yeah, intertwined a lot.
Yes,
yeah.
Intertwined, and we did a lot of events earlier this year, a Festival of India and all, but we are going to very soon do participate in your summer festival. We are looking forward to Kuwait's participation in our international festivals. And finally, the people-to-people links, they are the most strongest of it, essential. And you see right from the top of the strata, whether it is engineers or doctors or chartered financial analysts or CEOs, right to household workers, doctors, nurses. I think Indians are gainfully employed in all sectors of the Kuwaiti economy, and we are proud of it that they are the building blocks of this relationship.
Mr. Ambassador, recently you had a high-level Navy ship visit to the state of Kuwait. Can you please tell our audience about that visit, please?
This ship which came to Kuwait, it's named Visakhapatnam, and this is a town, eastern naval headquarters. And this was the first time when we had this big warship come. This is one of the latest in our inventory, and the most important part of it was that it is 75% indigenous by value. So it shows the make in India strength of India, and particularly in the defense sector. So now we are doing a lot of defense equipment manufacture and exporting to different countries. So this was something which we are very happy to showcase to our Kuwaiti partners. And because of the ship visit, both the navies were able to interact with each other. They had a bilateral passage, which we call passage exercise, with the Kuwaiti naval ship Muskan. And we also utilized this opportunity for many people from different strata. For example, community members, school children visited, media people. So I think we showcased it in every aspect. And I think these ship visits, it has become a regular feature in the last 3, 4, 5 years. Last year, 4 ships visited Kuwait. So I think these will build goodwill between our navies, between our defense authorities, and we look forward to greater defense cooperation with Kuwait.
Yeah, it was a highly successful visit, as you said, so many different activities along with that visit for a lot of different people as we're taking a look at this beautiful video also provided by your team, Mr. Ambassador. And it's been a very busy summer right here in the state of Kuwait for yourself and your team. A lot of various activities taking place. And on another note, Your Excellency, recently India, they landed a craft near the largely unexplored south pole of the moon. Can you tell us more about that, please? It's very interesting.
This is something I think which really truly historic, I would say. And this happened when we were in the midst of a ministerial visit.
Yes.
And what we did was, minister was in the meeting. He said, no, let us all watch it together. And with many of our professional community members, we watched the lander, soft land on the moon. So this is very, very important, not only for India, but the entire international scientific community.
Yes, of course.
For the first time in the history of space sector, somebody has landed on the south pole of the moon. And this spacecraft, the Land Rover, has actually able to do some scientific studies in the last few days. They have detected sulfur, they have detected many other trace elements, they're looking for hydrogen. So I think in a sense it was a triumph for the international scientific community, but obviously the whole credit goes to Indian Space Research Organization,
Yes.
ISRO, which is going back to back delivering results. I don't know whether you're aware or not, but yesterday they did another feat. We have sent our first solar mission to the sun.
Amazing.
Yes, it is called Aditya L1.
Amazing.
And it will again is the first for us, and I think this again would be a very, very important step in studying sun.
Congratulations on that achievement also, Mr. Ambassador. And maybe you could tell our audience now, please, about the recently concluded BRICS Summit and how that went, please.
From what I have read in the newspapers and also in the media, the summit was a good success. South Africa chaired it, and I think it was the 15th anniversary summit. But you would have also seen in the media that there has been a lot of talk about it because of the expansion which happened. BRICS currently is composed of 5 countries, Brazil, India, China, Russia, and South Africa. But this time they were able to admit 6 new members, and many from the region as well. So I think there is a renewed interest in this bloc. But if you see BRICS, this whole framework or this grouping is based of emerging economies. They have taken up issues that are important to the developing South. For example, the BRICS Development Bank, it has done a lot of projects in developing countries. They have they have delivered on vaccines. They have delivered on pharma products. So I think there is a lot going within the BRICS format, and that is why there is a lot of interest from many countries to join BRICS. And therefore, I think and India welcomes the new members, because India has always believed that new members add value to the forum and also strengthens the belief that there is a multipolar world order.
Mr. Ambassador, India will host the G20 Leaders Summit on September 9th and 10th in New Delhi. India has assumed the presidency of the G20 in December 2022. Elaborate more, please, for our audience watching this evening, sir.
This is something which we are all watching, and we are all looking forward to. Next week, 9-10th, will be the G20 summit in New Delhi, and this is one of our biggest summit events in the recent history, and there has been a lot of preparations gone under it. But why is this G20 special?
Yes.
I would say that what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has done is he has gone for a very ambitious, decisive, inclusive and democratized G20. When I say all this, I mean certain things. For example, when I say inclusive, it means that we have taken with us a lot of partners. So a number of countries from the neighborhood, extended neighborhood, other important players have been invited for the G20 summit. When I say democratized, you would not imagine that during this last year of from December, when we took the presidency, we have organized G20 meetings across the length and breadth of the country. 200 plus meetings in 56 cities across 28 states and 8 union territories, with over 1 lakh delegates participating in this.
Okay.
So it's basically been a people's G20.
Very vast. Then.
So it has been taken to every nook and corner of India. It has been made a people's movement. So even if today you ask any common man on the street in India G20, he will be immediately able to tell you, which would not have happened in the past.
Sure.
So what we have done is, one is this. Second is, we have tried to mainstream developing countries' viewpoints agenda in the G20 discussions. And for that, India hosted a Voice of Global South Summit in January this year, where 125 countries participated. And that was our effort to ask them what are their priorities, which we should dovetail in the G20. So that is how I think we are looking at an inclusive and ambitious summit. Let the summit happen, and we'll come to know of the outcomes. But I think the entire G20 has been based on a philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that the world is one family. And that's why our theme is one world, one family, one future.
Great to hear that, and wishing India all the best of luck in putting together this summit. And Mr. Ambassador, now coming back to the state of Kuwait, any activities planned here in Kuwait for the upcoming months that you would like to shed some light on for our audience watching HALA Kuwait tonight?
Indian Embassy is always into
Very
organizing
active.
some events,
Yes.
so we will not disappoint you on that account. We did a couple of events in the last 2-3 months, some of which you mentioned, but what we are looking at is immediately on 12th of September, for the first time, I think we'll be participating in your summer festival, which is being organized by Nakal. We are also looking at organizing a big event around the information technology sector in October, a symposium in Kuwait. We are also looking at a big tourism event. And so I think we have lots in store. And I
keep us updated, Mr. Ambassador.
Sure.
And as usual, a pleasure to have you on
you.
our program, HALA Kuwait, this evening. Do you have any last words or comments for the audience watching this evening?
Oh, last words, always looking forward to meet many of our Kuwaiti friends who are still on vacation and are coming back. So that was one. The second I would say is thank your country, the government, for a very successful visit of a minister. And lastly, I would say that we have a very exciting Cricket World Cup coming. So I see that a lot of interest in Kuwait on cricket. And for the first time, the Cricket World Cup trophy came here last month, and I was really amazed to see the kind of enthusiasm among people. So I think Kuwaitis should get ready for the next month extravaganza of the Cricket World Cup. So we're all looking for an exciting championship, and I'm sure some of our Kuwaiti friends would also be.
Great to hear that, and thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. We'd like to thank His Excellency Dr. Adarsh Swaika, the Ambassador of India to the State of Kuwait, for his valuable time and insight with us this evening right here on the program. Right now we're going to be moving on to our next report dealing with our upcoming guests, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned for the next guest.
sun in the sky. You know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me.
تعلن وزارة الداخلية باتخاذ الإجراءات الكفيلة بتحصيل المديونيات المستحقة للوزارة استناداً إلى المرسوم رقم 17 على 1959 بقانون إقامة الأجانب، والمرسوم بقانون رقم 67 على 1976 في شأن المرور. إنه يجب على كل أجنبي يرغب بمغادرة البلاد أياً كان سبب المغادرة أن يقوم بسداد المخالفات المرورية المسجلة عليه في أنظمة وزارة الداخلية، وذلك عن طريق تطبيق سهل أو البوابة الإلكترونية لوزارة الداخلية أو أحد الأقسام التابعة للإدارة العامة للمرور في المحافظات، بالإضافة إلى المكاتب التحصيل المروري في المنافذ البرية والبحرية ومطار الكويت الدولي.
Well, we're back right here in the studio, and if you're just tuning in, you are watching HALA Kuwait right here on KTV2, the family channel. And we have with us right now Badr Hamoud Lahdeb, and Badr is a cinematographer. Badr, welcome to our program HALA Kuwait.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you with us. So maybe we could start out by telling our audience a little bit about the difference between videographer and cinematographer.
So I think they both fall under the same topic, but the main difference between videography and cinematography is videography is more run and gun. So you would grab your camera, whatever the surrounding is, you would film it. You don't have control over the lighting or the scenario or the location that you're actually at. Whereas cinematography, you're studying the location, you're studying where the light is coming from, you're taking into consideration what you're trying to portray in your frame. So it's more of a storyteller when it comes to the cinematography rather than just filming anything and then going into the edit room and see what you can come up with. So I think that's the main difference.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself. We were talking before we came on air how you got involved in this field. By way of study, I think school, you studied economics.
That's correct.
And you've been working in one of, I think, the banks for a while.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit how you then switched into this, please. Give us the story.
I was very into the banking sector. I saw my future there until Corona came in, and we were all obligated to stay indoors. We're obligated to lock ourselves in.
Yeah.
And I used to dirt bike, so I had a lot of GoPro footage from my dirt bike. I took that opportunity to sit down, edit all the work that I have from the GoPro, and then from editing, I actually fell in love with the process of editing, and I showed more interest.
Interesting.
So I grabbed my phone, started filming from the phone. Corona came out. We left our houses. I bought a small camera. Well, just it kicked off from there. It hasn't been long. It's been 3 years.
Excellent.
3 years, yeah.
Looks like you have an eye for some of these things,
Thanks,
as they
I
say.
appreciate it.
So
Thanks.
tell us now, what are some of your techniques or tricks to make videos look so good? Tell us about that, please, Badr.
So I think it's a very simple thing. It's planning. This is the first thing that I want to say is planning your shoots. A lot of people misstep the planning. They just go ahead and shoot straight away, and they don't really take the initiative to do the pre-production process. That's number one. Number two, I'd probably say is lighting. Understand lighting. In photography, videography, cinematography, in the field of camera, lighting is king. If you know how to use lighting, your image is going to look phenomenal. Third thing I'd say is sound design. Learn how to incorporate sounds into your video to really get the audience engaged in what you're trying to show.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So tell us now, what kind of equipment do you use to get such great results?
All right. So it's a Sony camera. It's a Sony A7S III. I don't think that the camera does really add to quality.
So how important is the camera nowadays? Important too?
It's not. I don't think so. I think phones are capable of getting amazing results. Camera will give you a better look, but if you do not know how to maximize your camera, you'll not get the look that you're looking for. So I suggest to start off, if anybody wants to start off with a phone, and then see how it goes on from there. The phone will give you the basics on everything that you can actually take and incorporate into a professional camera.
Okay,
which
great.
is the Sony that I use. Yeah.
Great to hear that, Badr. So what are some of the important skills of a cinematographer, please?
I think it's to understand a few things. First off is lens choice. So
Tell us more.
Yeah, so when you choose a lens, there has to be a point why you're choosing this lens. It's the lens adds more to the story. What type of aperture you're using. So the lens choice is very critical, followed by, like I mentioned, is the lighting. Lighting really adds to the look of the movie or the ad that you're trying to do. Finally is the colors. You need to learn that colors are very important. How you color your videos. I'm a soul, I do everything.
Okay.
I'm a cinematographer, I'm the director, I am the colorist, I'm the sound design, I do everything. So when I'm doing the project, I'm taking all these into incorporation before I actually shoot.
Okay.
And combined together,
So
you
you're
come
doing
up
everything all in one then?
one-man production.
All right. Badr. So tell us, how do you improve yourself? Get even more skills. I mean, this is something new you've picked up. Been doing it for 3 years.
Sure.
And you could tell that you're very enthusiastic, working very hard on it.
Love it.
How do you keep improving on a daily basis?
Practice.
Okay.
Practice makes perfect in this field. You have to practice. You have to watch a lot of videos that you'd like to take as references.
Sure.
So these two combined together, you will come up with great results. And classes, web classes. Web is a great place for someone to learn today, rather than going to university or studying it. I think a lot of people are capable of getting the knowledge just from the web.
Badr, what are some of the latest trends? What's the latest things going on in this field that you could share with our audience, please?
I think if I want to talk about social media trends, it always changes. There's always something new happening.
Yeah.
But if we want to talk about TVCs, ads in that area, I think after Corona, people are seeking comedy. So the ads are more today towards the comedic approach, and that's creating laughter between the people that's been missing for the period of Corona. So I think today TVCs are mainly going towards comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to hear that. And how do you see cinematography in the state of Kuwait?
I think we have a lot of talents here.
Okay,
a
tell
lot
us
of
more.
talents. Yeah, a lot of talents. They just need to really shine out more. They need a light to be put on them.
A spotlight on them.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of talented people here. A lot.
Okay.
Mashallah, a lot. Yeah.
Good to hear that. So this is now something, I think you're going to be moving into this as a career path,
Yes,
right?
a
Tell us
full-time.
about that, Badr, now.
A full time. I thought about it. If you love something and you want to pursue it,
You have a passion for it.
definitely, yeah, definitely. And having a passion for something is difficult, to be honest, to get. Once you get that passion, it's hard to let go of it. So
Good to hear.
to do this, I really need to put 100% into it. And to put 100% means I have to be completely
Dedicated.
free, exactly, to do the cinematography field. It's a
All
big
right.
risk, a step, but I'm happy and I'm glad to do it.
Inshallah, it will
Inshallah.
go well for you, Badr. And what piece of advice would you give anyone out there now who would like to start in this field? Some youngsters watching out there, some young boys and girls. What do you have to say?
I think start with your phone. Phones are very amazing today. Phones are amazing. You can get all the settings that you need. You can get the basics. The web is a great place to learn. That's where I learned everything. If you really want something, you will find every way to achieve it. The mind is a great thing to have.
True.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Thanks
And
a lot.
Badr, it was a pleasure to have you with us. Do you have any last bit of words or advice for the audience watching tonight?
Pursue your passion. Whatever your passion is, do it. Because without passion, there's
not much there.
there's not much, to be honest.
That's
You'll
true.
be working day to day,
Yeah, that's true. Just
Yeah.
going through the motions.
basically.
Yeah, well, very well said, Badr, and it's
Thanks a lot.
a pleasure to have you with us
Pleasure
right here
is
on
all
Hala
mine,
Kuwait.
Tariq.
Wishing you all the best.
Thank you, Tariq.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you. We'd like to thank our guest, Badr Hamoud Lahdeib, for joining us. He's a cinematographer right here in the state of Kuwait. Wishing him all the best of luck in his future endeavors. Well, right now we're going to be moving on to our next report. It's the opening of the Sabah Al Ahmed Traditional Cafe. Let's take a look at this opening and what took place. Stay tuned.
We pass by it daily, but ever questioned why it's there and what for? It's the area where traffic lights intersect from all sides. Even if you have the priority, even if the light shows green, it cannot be blocked. Let's all help avoid traffic jams by committing to the yellow box.
Good evening, dear viewers. Today we are in Sabah Al Ahmed area covering the opening of a traditional cafe in the area, along with a gallery for traditional Kuwaiti artifacts and heritage. Stay tuned for this report.
طبعا احنا مشاركين 50 عضو من اعضاء فريق اكسبو 965 بافتتاح مركز تنميه مجتمع صباح الاحمد، وايضا القهوه الشعبيه المؤقته بمدينه صباح الاحمد، وطبعا بحضور معالي وزير الشؤون الشيخ فراس الصباح. نشكر على جهوده، على اهتمامه ايضا بالمناطق البعيده هذه، لان فعلا يحتاجون مدينه صباح الاحمد اخواننا وعيالنا، ويحتاجون جدا للاماكن اللي فيها متنفس وترفيه. واحنا فريق اكسبو 965 مهتمين جدا في الجانب التراثي والحرفي، ونبرز الامور هذه بشكل كبير وسليم وصحيح لجيل الناشئه وجيل المستقبل، جيل الشباب. نحافظ على تراثنا، موروثنا الثقافي والاجتماعي، نعرض ما هو متنوع من التراث الكويتي، من السفن القديمه، من الدلال، مقتنيات الباديه، مقتنيات البحريه، وعندنا شعار دائما نردده: حب الكويت يجمعنا.
We are today attended in the Sabah Salim, Abdullah Salim area because we covered that's a new project in Wizard Shu'un to cover all the things at the heritage. And we are all the group of Expo, they are attending in same time We hope so to get it. That's our thanks for each member in the group. You find it for. Thank you very much.
Today we are in Sabah Al Ahmed for Community Development Center. Ministry of Social Affairs, Mr. Faraz, today he will opening the committee and event today. We are actually around 40 of heritage from art and crafts in Sabah Al Ahmed. I hope inshallah visit us to see the craft in this area. Thank you very much.
We are around 185 person, Kuwaiti person here, that we are for Kuwaiti culture and antiques original. So we have more than 210 events around Kuwait and outside Kuwait. We went for Uzbekistan, China, Australia, most of the world countries. We were there for the heritage, and now we are in let's say Sabah Al Ahmed area for the opening of cafe, a public cafe for Sabah Al Ahmed, and for the Ministry of Affairs. The minister is coming today, and we are just to show them the Kuwaiti culture and everything. So you are welcome today. We are here up to 11 p.m. So welcome here. Thank you very much.
Well, we're back right here in the studio, and with that report, we come to the end of tonight's episode of HALA Kuwait. We'd like to thank, of course, His Excellency, the Indian Ambassador, for joining us this evening right here on HALA Kuwait. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's program. Make sure to enjoy the rest of your viewing this evening and all throughout the week right here on KTV2, the family channel. I'll be back with you once again tomorrow evening with another episode of HALA Kuwait. Before I leave you, remember to always take care of yourselves and each other, and let's always remember to respect one another. Have a nice evening, and good night for now.